Hey, gorgeous. Welcome to Season 2 of the Hormone Puzzle Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Kayla Smith, CEO of the Hormone Puzzle Society, a women's health hub for fertility, hormones, and the business of coaching, creator of the Hormone Puzzle Method, an infertility warrior, two-time boy mom, and women's health expert. This podcast is for women struggling with infertility, painful periods, terrible PMS, or really just any symptom of hormone imbalance that they are ready to eliminate for good. Tune in weekly as we interview amazing experts in the fields of women's health, breaking down those hormone walls, nerding out on nutrition, and having way too much fun. Whether you're beginning your journey or you've been struggling for years, we're going to finally help you put those pieces of your hormone puzzle back together so that you can get pregnant and eliminate those pesky symptoms for good. Are you ready? This season is packed with even more expert guests sharing groundbreaking knowledge, giving you that jolt of energy that you so desperately need, sending you lots of virtual hugs, and inspiring you to take your fertility into your own hands and make that baby. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now let's get started on your road to transformation. Today's guest is Kelley Ramsey, who is the founder and visionary of Waiting in Hope, a national infertility support ministry, which was started through her own personal journey of infertility, miscarriages, and a calling to step out and do more for women and couples. Kelley is a passionate speaker, writer, teacher of all things infertility, women, marriage, faith, and hope. In finding purpose in her painful journey, she's able to see hope and have faith in the hardest of life situations. Her husband, Justin, and her find joy in their chaos of chasing two active little boys who pray for an adopted baby sister. As they are currently in the adoption process to grow their family after the start of her infertility 11 years ago. They live in just north of Houston in the Woodlands in Texas with their chocolate lab, Jewel. Let's welcome Kelley to the show. Today's episode is presented by 2+ Fertility, a comfortable and easy to use at-home device that increases the chances of a sperm meeting an egg when you're trying to conceive. When you try naturally, less than 1% of sperm reach the egg. 2+ Fertility's goal is to fix that. For more information, visit 2plusfertility.com and use code Kayla30 at checkout for 30% off your order. Hey, Kelley, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Me too. I'm so excited to hear from you and to hear your story. So let's get into that a little bit. Can you kind of tell us, how you started working in women's health and kind of how you got here?
Yeah. So my own journey of infertility started out just, I was hoping to have children, right? And was always knew in the back of my mind that maybe something wasn't exactly right. I'd had a lot of health issues. And so this didn't surprise me that it was one of them. Granted, you never choose infertility for yourself. And so we started trying, and probably, I would say like 8 months in, I was at my OB and just brought it up to her. Hey, we've been trying. I haven't had any positive ovulation tests. What are your thoughts on that? I know that I've had bad blood testing in the past. And she was like, Kelley, just knowing your history and that things don't always, I'm kind of worst case scenario on most things.
Oh.
She was like, I would rather send you to a fertility specialist sooner rather than later. And so I said, okay, well, all right, I guess. Do I need that? Then all the questions come into your mind. Like, are you sure? Am I broken? Is it wrong? Like, is this going to be hard? And so I got to the fertility specialist pretty quickly from my OB, and they started all the initial tests. And sure enough, like, I had cycles, but I didn't ovulate ever. And then a host of other things. They were concerned about potential endometriosis and issues potentially with my tubes. And so then it just led down a very fast track, year-long doing everything. Like we got as far as overstimulation, and they wanted to do an IVF the next day. Like
Wow.
we weren't ready for emotionally, spiritually, financially, like we just hadn't gotten there yet in our mind. And so to be thrown that loop all of a sudden, not even a year in, was like, whoa, hold on. And when I told my doctor that, like, we just weren't ready financially. We had just sold a car or just bought a car and all these things. And he was like, well, you don't have to do it. Like, it's our fault that we overstimulated you. So we can do a redo and we'll help you try to get meds. And they were so kind, even though they didn't have to be. And we retried and then had another failed IUI. And we're so frustrated because this is after 2 miscarriage losses that we'd already had. So like over and over again, they're like, these look perfect. You're fertile. This should work. And just to get the devastation of it not working several times in a row and several times leading to miscarriage was like, okay, my body's doing up till this and they're helping me get there. And then what is happening? And so I kind of just took a break from all things fertility for about 2 months. I was just like, was losing myself and I was losing our marriage. And so I went on just a trip. My friend was already in Italy. And so I had been putting off doing anything for 2+ years as we were trying. And so I went on this trip and it was there that just like, I got to have like this peaceful time of just like focusing back on me and having fun and enjoying life. And that's where the perspective really came in. And I had the chance to be like, okay, God, like, what are you really doing here? What is this waiting for? What is happening? And for some reason, it was a lot about breast cancer, which is really, really random. But my mom had hormone receptive breast cancer and she had it early on in her life for what research shows. And so I'd always had that in the back of my mind. And here I am, not that it correlated, but pumping myself full of hormones. And it was like everywhere I went, it was like an interview about breast cancer or some, article that I'm like skimming through and I'm like, why? So I went home, told my husband, and he was like, well, maybe you should go to the OB. You haven't made your regular appointments in a while. And I was like, yeah, that's true. So I went in and she saw some things when she examined me that she was like, these do concern me. So here I am now on a pause for fertility stuff, now going to get mammograms and ultrasounds. Those ultrasounds were concerning. And so then I had biopsies. So now I'm in a 2-week wait of trying to get scheduled for biopsies and figure out what's happening. And I'm like, well, this 2-week wait feels really different. Like it's not, am I going to make life? It's, am I going to be led towards cancer? And so it was just this turmoil inside of me. And I'm like, I just had like weeks of peace, like on this great, beautiful vacation. And here I am now going life or death, and so I just really surrendered the whole process and just said, okay, I trust that whatever is before me, I'm not in control of, and I can only control what is right before me, which step I take. And I'm going to choose joy because otherwise I'm going to be defeated in this. And so the morning of my biopsies, felt my body doing something strange. And sure enough, still had an ovulation test, which is crazy because I think I threw away all those I thought in some rage of anger, I'm sure. And so I took an ovulation test that morning and sure enough, it was positive. Wow. And here I am going, whoa, like, God, you can make life or death. You can bring life. You can do things that my body can never do on its own. And it was just this reminder of like, you hold all things together. Okay, so I'm going to go into this biopsy. I'm not going to be concerned. I'm not going to be worried. I'm going to be peaceful because I don't control this. And sure enough, 2 weeks later, I found out I didn't have breast cancer and I was pregnant. Because
Wow.
of course we tried.
Right? Logical.
Those needles are huge.
Right.
And I was iced up, and it was the most mechanical sex we've probably ever had. Like, don't touch me, but you make use with what you got. And
Right.
so we were just like ecstatic. I mean, because for me, going from the fear of breast cancer to being able to ovulate on my own to just this like surprise gift that we didn't even think my body could do was just, I mean, it's a miracle. It was chill bumps, crazy. And so from there, I had previously been leading a support group through my church at the time, and women were coming from all over, and I was writing curriculum, and I needed it more necessarily than they did most weeks. Like, I needed people to know and to see that I was in a similar spot and that I wasn't alone in this. And so we would start to come, and we'd have couples dinners because, our husbands needed support. And so it just kind of grew from there. And we held one event after I had my first son, Carter, who I just spoke of. And it was like 200 plus people came from all over. I'm in Houston area, so it's a big city, but they were coming from the outskirts, 45 minutes, an hour away, and they were leaving crying and thankful. Like, I haven't heard anyone else speak of these words and understand what I was going through. And it was at that moment, it just kind of clicked, like, they all need support. And so we kind of replicated what we had been doing and kind of growing it so that more could have a local support in some sense of the word, to look at someone and be like, I'm where you're at, or I just came out of that. And the healing that's really taken place in that for myself and for others has just been amazing. Like, I would have never written it. I would have never asked for it, but I've gotten to see it be used in ways, like paying for purpose. I completely believe in. And so just like that's, I mean, how you got to where you're at is it's like, okay, well, how can I make use of this that I went through, and how can it become better? And don't get me wrong, I tried to run from it and tried to avoid this season as much as possible. I was in secondary infertility after my son Carter and had a really hard loss. And we were further along this time, and we had, we were hoping it was a girl, and we were just like so ready. It had come. Wasn't on treatment. And it was another one of those, like, we didn't even know that we were fully trying. Like, it just happened, like people talk about. And then to have that loss followed by a lot of people reaching out of, I'm here again. I just went through this happened. And I was like, I'm in your same boat. I just haven't shared about it. Just brought me back to the place of, okay, this is my story. I can't, just because I became a mom and had this baby, I can't take away from all the things I've already gone through. So like, that doesn't negate all the stuff I've been through, and I've got to keep using it, or else I'm going to sit in some of that pain too. Like, there's healing that comes from when we walk forward as well. And so, yeah, that's like the big picture story. I have a second son who, when we said yes to that and held the event, I was like 10 months pregnant, and here I am going, this was not the plan. Like, this is not how I'm supposed to be up here. Right. And I just remember that, like, that brings others hope, and it wasn't something I even knew I could do. And again, it was not on treatment. It was, I had made some big changes in my health. Honestly, I had stopped eating gluten, which I found out I had a gluten intolerance. I call it an allergy because if I eat it, I'm deathly sick. Like, my body's can't process the poison. And so I really think my inflammation was reduced. I think my body started functioning. I ovulated on my own clearly. I wasn't in as much pain physically. Cause I also have KRE malformation. I had surgery a year and a half ago, brain surgery. And so I have a lot of health issues that I have to be careful of that I didn't know at the time. And so it was also just a process of peeling back that onion of my own health and realizing, okay, this isn't just about my fertility. This isn't just about being able to have babies. This is about how I feel right now and how I'm going to feel years later And so I'm really thankful that I went through that journey as hard as it was, because I don't think Grayson would have been able to be born and been healthy and even have that pregnancy if I hadn't had known to remove gluten, which is actually crazy because it came about during that Italy trip. So I'm in Italy. I'm feeling the best I'd ever felt. And like literally I could drink wine, I could eat bread. Like I felt the best I'd ever felt.
Wow.
And I didn't know at that point that I had a gluten allergy. And here I am, I love bread and I'm just like devouring all the pasta in the Italy cooking. And I felt fine. I remember telling my husband, it just like clicked. I'm like, I don't feel sick. Like my stomach doesn't hurt while I'm here. I don't have any headaches. Like something's weird. Like they do something really well. And so then I started doing some research and looking into it and read Grain Brain after someone suggested it when I was mentioning. And so here I am devouring the book Grain Brain, which is like super scientific. And it just started clicking. I was like, I think I have to try this. So we cleaned out our whole kitchen. My husband was like, I'll try anything for a few weeks. So it means you'll feel better. Cause I was like, you have to be in this too. Cause I can't do this on my own. I'm not making separate meals. And so we did it. And sure enough, after I got through the detox of the sugar and the gluten and like desperately wanting it, it was night and day different. Like my headaches were gone. I felt so much better. And so I just think even that was pre having potential cancer. Like even that time was being used for such purpose that I didn't understand until much later. And so the journey's hard, but like there are nuggets that you get along the way if you press in. And so that's really what I've learned along the way is like, it's so much bigger than that baby and the act of sex and trying to make a baby and the fertility doctors or whatever. Like it's so much bigger than all that. Like it's our health. And so that's why I'm thankful that you do what you do, because shoot, that would have been so much helpful if I hadn't had to try to figure it and piece it together on my own.
Right. I love that story. What a beautiful story. So thank you for sharing that. And I love that you talk about how you went gluten-free, because that's one of the things I talk about a lot. You know, sometimes an undiagnosed celiac can cause some infertility issues. And so I feel like a lot of that is linked. So going gluten-free is wonderful. I love it. And that too, I'm sure you know this, but in Europe, they don't use the same gluten we use. Our gluten's like processed and GMO and all of that crap. Where there, it's like homemade, healthier.
Yeah. It's the way we used to cook back in the day when our grandmas made everything from scratch.
Exactly.
And and that's where it started to click. Like we'd add things into, our processes of making everything that our bodies don't know how to break down. And so it wasn't necessarily the gluten, it was everything added to the gluten. And, you know, I can tell if I have certain things that have it in there that I didn't notice, like it may not say wheat or gluten. And I'm like, oh, that's one of those things I can't break down. Like one of those added in additives, or I forget what the exact word is, but.
Yeah, the additives for sure.
So yes, that was a game changer for me. And so I always suggest to people, I'm like, just try it. Like give it 3 weeks. If you're not better and you don't feel any better, even my husband, he's like, I'm not gluten free, but I can tell when I need to eat gluten free. Like,
right. And that's the thing too. I think most people don't realize it's so easy to be gluten free now. There's so many other options when you don't have to have all the breads and the pastas and the packaged foods and all of that. So
and message me if you're like, I want to try it, because there's good options and there are really bad options.
Yes.
It took about 2 years to figure that out.
Right, for sure. So talk to us about where you're at now. You're going through the adoption process. So how's that been? Talk to me a little about that.
It's been exciting and scary, and I think all the infertility feelings come back up because like you're preparing. It's like this, like move forward really fast and then slow waits, and move forward really fast and then slow waits. And so we are, finishing our home study right now. We have like one more interview and some homework to do. And we've already had our training with our agency, and we're hoping to do domestic newborn. And, our sweet boys really want a baby. And so I love that idea, and I love getting to watch them be involved in that, and then see the beauty of, because we talk all the time about, your brothers and sisters in heaven, like if they were here, you wouldn't be here. And so, just like your life has purpose here on this earth that you have to fulfill. And so it's really going to be beautiful to be like, this baby had purpose too. And it may not get to be with its mama, but its mama got to choose for it to have life. And so we're hoping to love on a birth mom. And to watch them make such a selfless choice is gonna like break me. I know. Yeah. And my husband and I talk about it all the time. And I'm like, it's gonna be so beautiful and so hard at the same time. And very much like infertility and a lot of the same feelings of you don't know what's gonna happen. Like you don't even get the sense of false control. Like I feel like we can get in infertility where it's like, I've done all these things to try, or I've gone to I've made all these changes, or I've gone to all these doctor's appointments. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do. This is like, I don't know. We'll just see.
Right.
Like we're filling out paperwork of like really hard choices of like, does this matter? Like, race, and does this matter, health wise? And it's like, most of those things I wouldn't get to choose anyway.
Right.
So some of them, race I can choose, but so just hard decisions in a different way.
Well, I love that you're doing that. Oh, I always tell my husband, if I was like 5 years younger, we would be adopting a baby. So.
We're crazy. Like we're past diapers.
Yes, that's what he said to me. He was like, we're past diapers. Our kids sleep through the night. Why would you want to do that? And I'm like, too.
I know. I have one starting kindergarten. I'm like, I'm going to have an empty house, but yet we're going to adopt.
Right. I love it. Well, God bless you for doing that. Oh, such a wonderful thing. So talk to me a little bit more. I know we talked earlier, you do some support groups at your church. And so talk to me about how the emotional piece of fertility is so important. I feel like that's not talked about enough.
Yeah. No, that's huge. So, Waiting Hope Ministries has curriculum that we work together with local churches. We've also done some just in communities. It's a 2-year process, if you will, a program of several studies. I think there's 6 in total, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I had to add in my head. And, just really working through the emotional aspects of infertility. I'm not a certified counselor. I'm not anything like that, but we've seen just the process of what we have to do. Like we have to understand what we're going through. We have to, this is normal. This is okay. Like these feelings are okay. So we need to break down some of the myths and the misconceptions that happen in our head, and then kind of break down some of the lies that we get trapped in. That, I'm broken, or this is never going to get better. I'm not supposed to be a mom, or my husband's not going to love me. Like we have to break down some of these lies that are actually breeding in our brain and our heart into this negative. It takes over our body. Yeah. The more, I think I was, 5 positive things over the 1 negative thing. Well, with an infertility, our body shame, our shame of not being able to potentially do the things that we feel like we should be able to do. And this disease that's kind of taken over, whatever it may be in your diagnosis, like that takes over so much that it then emotionally takes over. And so we kind of have to detach from all the things that fertility steals. And one of those is very much the emotional aspect and the mental aspect. So we kind of break down some of that stuff first so that we can start from a foundation of like, okay, well, this is what's true. Yes, my body's not ovulating, but my body also works every day and it doesn't have to. Like my body still breathes. My body still can take in food. Like we have to break it down to like the basics of like my body still is a functioning body. And so that's a beautiful thing. And then we go into some of the more emotional, spiritual, and also the relational aspects that really we bring into this, and that people bring to us, whether it's people who don't mean to, who not in malice, but in carelessness, just say things, they want. Grief isn't something that, and this is all grief. This is trauma. This is infertility trauma. And so whatever it may be, whether you've actually had miscarriages, you've had death because you've had a change of expectations, a death of a dream, a death of it being easy. Like, these are all things that we have to process. And I didn't do for a long time. It took years for me to figure some of this stuff out. And like that onion peeling back, you eventually get to more and more layers. And I described it the other day that like when you eventually peel enough back of that onion and like you cut it in half or peel it back and you put it back in the refrigerator, it will start growing again. You know, science project.
Right.
As long as it doesn't have mold, it's still like edible. You can still use it, and it starts shooting out more new growths, because that's what it does. Like, you peel back, you know, just like trimming roses. You trim roses so that they can grow back bigger and better. Well, this is kind of what happened for us within figuring out the emotional and the physical and spiritual and relational aspects of infertility. Like, we had to peel back some of the bad stuff so that we could start putting good stuff there. Because what's going to happen if we don't deal with these things, this trauma, this grief, this pain? Well, then we go into, potentially, if we get what we're wanting and we get to a place where there is a child or there's an adoption or whatever it may be, then you have this baby and you are potentially still broken. So you're holding this baby in your arms, but yet like your heart's empty, or you have all this trauma that you never dealt with in your marriage. And now you're parenting and all this trauma is coming back up because it hasn't been addressed. Or that miscarriage, as you hold that baby and realize, oh my goodness, I never said goodbye and healed from those losses. Like, that's what loss number 3 was for us. It was really hard. We named her Hope because we realized there was hope in those others too that we never dealt with. So let's go back. And so yeah, it was really just let's figure this out for myself, but also for the people that were going through it. And so it was very much relational and marriage. And for us, because we are a biblically based ministry, that we wanted to make sure it was based on a foundation of hope. And the only hope we had at the end of the day was that God created us and that we had Jesus as our hope for eternity. And so for us, that was a building foundation, whether they believed that or not. We had women come to group from all different types of religions, and for them, it was a good place to be like, we need to stand on some type of foundation, because this is all out of control, right? And we can't control it. We can't fix it. And part of that is coming to terms with that like, I am not in control. Like, I can control what I eat. I can control if I address things in my marriage and try to make them better. You know, do I go to a marriage retreat? Do I try to do things to help? But at the end of the day, I can't control how my husband reacts. I can't control how my body responds. And so that was really freeing, I think, for a lot of us, of going like, I can't work at this to make it better to get to the end successful goal. And that's okay, because there's more to it than that. And I think even with parenting and the things that are to come later, potentially, like, if we think we're in control as well, it's going to be a rude awakening. And that baby controls your schedule for the first year and a half. And then their emotions can try to control you later on. Like, I have a second grader, and sometimes I look at him and I'm like, your bad mood is not going to make my bad mood.
Right? I have a second grader too. I hear ya. Yeah. I love it. So we're going to take a short break to hear a word from our sponsor. When we come back, we're going to talk more practical tips, and I want to learn more about your Waiting in Hope ministries. So we will be right back. Hey y'all, it's Coach Kayla here. I hope you are loving this episode as much as I am. We will be back in just a minute, but first, a word from our sponsors. Happy to share the sponsor of today's episode, 2+ Fertility, which was designed to help solve the issue of less than 1% of sperm reaching the egg when you're trying to conceive at home. Comfortable and easy to use, each device, which is as seamless as using a tampon, can be used up to 4 times a month. It's soft and comfortable, drug-free, and made of 100% medical-grade silicone. 2+ believes that every drop counts and encourages users to insert 2+ sperm guide before sex in an effort to stop sperm from flowing back out of the vagina post-sex. 2+ wants to bring as much sperm to the right place in the vaginal tract and create an experience that can be tried from the comfort of your own home or hotel room. Learn more about this product, which can be discreetly shipped to your doorstep by visiting 2plusfertility.com. Available in the US, the UK, and Singapore. And don't forget, use code Kayla30 at checkout for 30% off your order. Hey, Kelley, welcome back. Thanks for joining us again.
So glad to be here.
Yes. So let's talk practical tips. We alluded to a couple things in the beginning with going gluten-free, but do you say anything else kind of contributed to you to be able to get your ovulation back and to kind of walk through this path and then get to your path to parenthood and get pregnant?
Yeah. Ooh.
Maybe like 3 things.
Yeah, directly attached to that. I would say I kind of alluded to this one a minute ago. So I think obviously my health, like realizing that there was other added things, like anything we put into our body affects what is going on inside of our body. And so granted, I didn't go to the extreme because 10+ years ago, there wasn't those kinds of things of like beauty counter and like, wearing organic, deodorant and those kinds of things, which I have not found an organic deodorant that still works.
Me neither. If you know of one, I've been using Keep Me Safe, and that one does okay, but it's not my chemical deodorant. I hate to say that because I'm a holistic coach, but it's hard.
I would rather not stink.
I know. Me too.
Send me all the things. I'll take them.
Yes.
So all the tips. But realizing that and the importance of what was going into my body and what I was eating was really important. So that one is tip like 1, 2, and 3 in itself. But I think also realizing that I wasn't in control was really big for me. Like I'm not a type A. I am like easygoing, peacemaker, number 9 on Enneagram, so I can be any of them if I want to be. But I definitely within my own fertility just grasped at control. And that grasping at control, I think, did a number on me physically, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like having stress. It was having the added stress of feeling like I held all of it in my hands, that I had to fix my body, that I had to make sure my marriage was okay, that I had to make sure that I could get pregnant and stay pregnant. Like this heavy rock was just beating me up. And then it was like, then I was literally adding rocks into my body because it was like my body couldn't function because of all the stress and the pressure and the anxiety and the control. And so I remember going to my counselor because I had one at the time that I regularly saw, and pre-infertility, it just got heightened then. So I went back. So that would be number 3 is like realize your control issues. Number 2, number 3 is talk to someone about it. And so because I was having the physical and health issues, and then I was having the mental, emotional issues, it just added to more physical issues that then added to more relational issues. So like, I couldn't control my marriage. I couldn't control the relationships around me that were falling apart, that like they were ahead of me and I was behind, but yet I really still wanted to be close to them, but they didn't know how to talk to me. And so I developed some really good tools within community of other women who understood within Waiting and Hope. And I also developed some really healthy tools with my counselor of like, Kelley, you need something to say to people of why you're not working right now, but you're not a mom and you don't always want to tell them that you're trying. Like you don't always want to unload that junk on them that emotionally you can't handle, but you need something to be able to tell them so that you have ground to stand on, because otherwise you're falling apart in these situations over and over again. And so like she just gave me some really useful coping tools, if you will. I remember being leading one of the groups that we first had, and and being like, do you guys have coping skills? Like, do you have coping tools that you're using right now in this time? Like to relieve stress, to handle situations. And someone was like, I go to yoga. And I'm like, that's not a coping tool.
Right.
That's a stress relief. That's good. But that's not a coping tool. Like you need strategic things that you do that ask a counselor. I trigger every time this happens. Okay, well, let's figure out a way to remove that. So I got off social media for like almost a year because I was like, I can't handle the scrolling. I still get off social media. So someone messaged me yesterday to tell me they were pregnant because they're like, you probably didn't see it. I'm like, nope. Unless it's on our main page, I don't see it.
Right. I love it. Such wonderful tips. I definitely think, physically trying to figure out kind of some tips that work for you with your diet, and then also emotionally having that support of a counselor, a coach. It's all, it all ties into that mind, body, and spirit, and trying to be as healthy as you possibly can. So I love those tips.
Yeah. And those things are just going to help you for whatever is next, whether it is parenting, whether it is being pregnant, or whether it's something else hard that gets thrown at you. Like I got done with infertility and then I got a new diagnosis that I've been asking answers for 20 years, and it led to brain surgery. And so I needed a lot of those same 3 practical coping skills in a lot of ways for that next stage. Like everyone has an opinion, and when you're going to have brain surgery or you have infertility issues, they're going to tell you what it is.
Right.
Have you thought about such, and such? Oh. And, having the ability to go, what they think is important, but is not what dictates how I move forward.
Exactly. And so let's talk about waiting in hope. We talked a little bit about it earlier, but kind of tell us what that is and how somebody can be involved with it.
Yeah. It just happened, It's one of those things I would have never known 11 years ago. This is what I'd be doing every day. But so we are a nonprofit. We have local support groups throughout the country. We have online support groups. Quite a few of those local ones have actually moved online thanks to COVID. So we were prepared for that, luckily. And so those support groups are really wonderful because they have a group of women and husbands and couples that can really walk beside you through your journey. Because just because you become pregnant doesn't mean that those things just all of a sudden go away. Like the fear and the control and the waiting. And so we found that those people are really still needed in those groups, and you get to like celebrate with each other and find hope in that, and also grieve when there is things to grieve together. And so that has been such a healthy spot. And so we help facilitate those trainings, curriculum. So we have a lot of women who've gone through this journey and then are like, I want to do something with it, or in it. And are like, I feel okay enough that I want to help others too. That was me in my journey. And then, we do couples retreats and we do online events. We have a network outside of social media called Waiting Hope Connection, where we do courses and we'll bring in people. I'm hoping Kayla will come in to one of our lives and just to talk about real things that matter and to give good, healthy resources in a safe space. Because we all know that, like I said earlier, social media can be our worst enemy in some ways. It can also bring great resources and information. And so that is one thing we just started and are launching, and we launched in April. And so we're really excited about it because you can see people who are going through the same stage as you or have the same diagnosis as you. And so you can really get, focused attention on what you're really asking for instead of just like this general public question. So.
Right. I love it. And you have an event going on right now. It's starting soon. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. So we have a couples retreat. It launched in April, but it's going to be up for a while. And it is actually, a 6-session with 6 additional sessions from experts and people in their field. And, Kayla's on there. And just giving great insight. We'll probably launch it again in a year if the need is there. We love doing our in-person retreats, and hopefully we'll be able to do those again fairly soon. But for now, we really wanted to take care of marriages. And so the first 6 sessions are really just about them personally and also their marriage, because we feel like that's one of the things that takes the biggest hit, which is one of the most important things. Like that's the reason why you're even wanting to have a baby, is to share in this with your spouse and, you know, to make a person to care for together and love together. And so we've just seen so much hurt take place in that. And we know we can really do generational work if we can address the marriage too. And so that there's not 10 years down the road, there's not issues that were never dealt with. So that's really our hope. But yeah, it is an honor to get to serve the trying to conceive TTC community and share in this sisterhood that like I would have never had otherwise. And so we just relate in a way that I feel like other people can't get, you know?
Right. Yes. I totally agree. So tell us where we can find you. Where can we find Waiting in Hope?
Yeah, you can find us on all the social media, Instagram, Facebook, at waiting.in.hope. I said a lot of dots. Waiting.in.hope. I think that was right.
Yeah, you got it. We'll put it in the show notes too, so don't worry.
And then for sure, go to the website. There's tons of resources. That's waitinginhopeinfertility.com. There's lots of resources. There's blogs. There's links to everything you need. And that's just a great place. There's gifts and items. You know, I meet tons of people who are like, how can I love them? And I'm like, get them something that's sweet, that shows them you just care. Like that goes miles.
For sure. I love it. I love it. So definitely we'll put all that in the show notes. Follow Kelley, follow Waiting in Hope. And I love talking to you. Thank you so much for sharing your story. It's been such an honor to have you on. And I would love to hear any final thoughts, any words of advice, any last piece you want to leave us with in our audience.
Yeah. Oh, it was a joy to get to talk to you guys today, number one. So thank you so much for letting me come on. And I would say that honestly, like, don't let this define you. Like, I think within my infertility, I wasn't Kelley anymore. And I think that Kelley had become different, and I want to become different and better because of the hardships we go through. You know, I look at those people who've been through cancer or have been in like crazy traumatic experiences, you know, who have one leg or, you know, there's so many people I look at like that I'm like, wow, like they really did overcome and become a better person. And I think we get so lost in our tunnel vision of baby, that we forget that there's so much that's happening in that waiting, that there's so much happening that's making us a better person if we'll press in, if we'll really dig into those heart issues and dig into those physical and health issues. And so really just, it doesn't define you. Like you want to put that label on yourself, but don't allow you to. Like you are going through infertility, you are not infertile.
Right.
I wasn't. The doctors told me I was very fertile. However, I was going through infertility, struggling to have kids and still am, because we want to adopt. And I know I cannot actually go through pregnancy and things like that. So.
I love that. And I talk a lot on this show about your path to parenthood, and it looks different for everybody. So just because maybe you don't reach the path the way you think you should, you can still be a mom. There's many different ways. So I love that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you again. It's always an honor to talk to you. I really appreciate you coming on the show. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. I hope you guys have a wonderful day.
Yes, you too. And thank you guys for listening to the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L.E Podcast. Until next time, bye for now. Don't forget to check out today's sponsor, 2+ Fertility, a comfortable and easy to use at-home device that increases the chances of a sperm meeting an egg when you're trying to conceive. Visit 2plusfertility.com to order yours, and don't forget to use code KAYLA30 at checkout for 30% off your order. Hey, hang on just 1 second before you go. I want to make sure that you are aware of all of the amazing free resources that I have for you on my website at CoachKayla.com. from a fertility meal plan, a cycle syncing quick start guide, a holistic healing cookbook, as well as master classes, blog posts by me and some amazing experts in the fields of fertility, hormones, and nutrition. So many wonderful resources that will help you on your journey. And I wish there had been something like this when I was going through my 2 years of infertility, but there just wasn't. And so that's why I decided to create all of this for you. So make sure that you go and check it out and you take advantage of this plethora of support that I have provided for you. And spoiler alert, these were some of the same tricks and the same foods that I used to get myself pregnant, not once, but twice, even after my doctors said that I couldn't. So I know that these things work. Make sure you take advantage of that. And I cannot wait for you to be my next success story. So thanks, love. See you soon. Thanks for tuning in today to the Hormone Puzzle Podcast. Check out the show notes for today's episode at CoachKayla.com. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and leave a review. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next week.